Joe Gale would like to be the governor of Pennsylvania. He's asking for your support, and he joins me now. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Rich. I appreciate this opportunity.
Absolutely. Tell us about the campaign, what you stand for, and how's it going?
It's going well. I was the first candidate to announce for governor, along with my brother, Sean Gale, who's a candidate for U.S. Senate. It was a joint announcement of the Gale brothers. And for the last well over a year, since February of 2021, but prior to that, we've been traveling the state doing a series of meet and greets called A Cup of Joe, which is a catchy phrase for a coffee klatch, where we literally go into the homes of living rooms all across Pennsylvania and meet with Republican primary voters one-on-one. And they're very effective. That's always been the key to my success politically in my campaigns for Montgomery County Commissioner, where I'm currently serving my second term. And every time I run for that position, it's a big David and Goliath battle against the establishment. And I win because I go directly to the people. And I see there's a prime opportunity in 2022 to change course after the last 2 years of these draconian shutdowns and lockdowns and mandates. People had enough, they're aggravated, and they want to change. But I simply have no faith in the Republican Party establishment because far too often they let us down in Pennsylvania. If you look at the last litany of statewide Republicans we've had, every single one of them has been a tremendous disappointment. Dating back to Arlen Specter, I call him the original Rhino, replaced by Pat Toomey, who's just as bad as Specter. One of our last former Republican governor, Tom Ridge, who actually endorsed Joe Biden last year. And then the last Republican governor he had, who was such a disaster, his whole legacy was giving Pennsylvania the highest gas tax in the nation, the infamous Corbett gas tax. That's Tom Corbett, led us to having Tom Wolf as the current governor. He was unable to get reelected. So I hate to see this opportunity be squandered, and that's why Team Gale is stepping up to the plate. And I have a proven record of winning very challenging races. Montgomery County is larger than 5 states in population. So I've ran big campaigns before. I know how to win campaigns, and I also have the geographic advantage to do very well in the November general election. The Democrat nominee will be Josh Shapiro, who's a former Montgomery County commissioner. And the last thing Josh Shapiro wants to face in the general election is Joe Gale, the sitting county commissioner in his home turf, where I am a lifelong resident, 2-term county commissioner right in his backyard. But I also have the unique brand to do well in a statewide campaign because I'm a pro-life social conservative. That's what initially started my quest in public life, was when the Montgomery County GOP establishment endorsed a board member of Planned Parenthood, which was totally appalling. I was shocked. I decided, having never held office, to run against the establishment unendorsed back in 2015, and I won. And that was not only a big upset, it was a tremendous pro-life victory. So for me to be a pro-life social conservative in the Philadelphia suburbs is rare. I have that all to my own, and it does well statewide, and also gives me the ability to stop the bleeding in the belly of the beast, the Philadelphia region, which is heavily Democrat, and beat Shapiro.
Joe Gale, let me ask you about the latest poll that came out, the Trafalgar Group poll, showing that Doug Mastriano has a 10-point lead. Lou Barletta, and then Dave White, and then McSwain, and then, the other candidates are down in the single digits. I mean, how do you overcome that?
I don't go by the polls whatsoever because I'll tell you, Rich,
right,
in the last week alone, I've received 3 polls directly to my phone, and it says, in the Republican primary for governor of Pennsylvania, who are you likely to vote for? And it lists 8 names, and there's 9 candidates. And Joe Gale is the one name excluded from that poll.
Oh,
so
really?
How you can possibly exclude a 2-term county commissioner in a county that's larger than 5 states in population, that's been visiting with Republican primary voters for a year and a half every single day, that's going to be very significant in a poll. All these people attending my Cup of Joes, they're all voting on May 17th. So I'm going to do very well. But these polls are deliberately done in a way to have the outcome that they want to see. And also they're done in a way to keep me off a debate stage. And you moderated a debate a couple months ago. And I'm known to stand out because I'm not afraid to be critical of the flaws and effectiveness and corruption of the Republican Party, where the other candidates simply can't criticize the ineffectiveness of their own party because they're all created by the establishment swamp. I never was. And that's also what would make me a great governor, because I can hold the Republican legislature and the Pennsylvania State Senate and State House accountable to actually deliver conservative results and not squander these opportunities like we had when Tom Corbett was governor.
Joe,
So that's
let me
what
ask
makes
you.
me very unique.
Let me ask you, has anyone approached you? This story in the Inquirer today that the Republican establishment wants to stop Mastriano by asking other candidates to drop out of the race and back someone. Has anyone approached you about that?
No, they know they can't approach me to get out of a race.
You would not, under any circumstances, get out of the race.
No, but I'll tell you this, Rich, absolutely not. And it's too late. Every candidate's on the ballot, and people are already voting.
Yeah, I agree.
In Pennsylvania, you have 50 days of no excuse mail-in voting, thanks to Doug Mail-in Mastriano and every other single Republican state senator we have in Pennsylvania, that they unanimously and unconstitutionally passed this unconstitutional mail-in voting legislation. And I believe that should disqualify Mastriano from holding any office, let alone being promoted to a higher office. And I believe that both the Republican establishment and the Democrat establishment want Mastriano to become the Republican nominee for governor because there's a lot of corrupt, bad Republican Party bosses and insiders that actually want Josh Shapiro, the Democrat, to win governor. And there's evidence of it. When I beat the Montgomery County GOP the first time, 2015, the chair of the GOP in Montgomery County was a state representative named Mike Verb, who now works in the Attorney General's department, having a six-figure salary job that never existed before. So Shapiro creates a job in the Attorney General's department for the Montgomery County GOP party boss. And also the former disgraced chairman of the Pennsylvania Republican Party, a guy named Val DeGiorgio, who had to resign because of a scandal. His wife is the former Montgomery County Commerce Director, hired by Shapiro when he was county commissioner. So that's very unusual that the Democrat county commissioner is hiring the Pennsylvania Republican Party chairman's wife, but they were both partners at the same law firm. And why these people are in politics is because of business. They want to get rich off our tax dollars. And with Shapiro as the next governor, they can all rake in those state contracts. And I know that I'm the only Republican that can actually beat Josh Shapiro in the general election. And this Mastriano guy is detrimental to this ticket. Not only is he highly unelectable, he'll tank the Senate race, the U.S. Senate race. He'll tank the governor's race.
Can I ask
you,
Joe? The
state House, the state Senate races are going to be challenging as well with him
Joe,
as the nominee.
Why do you think that Doug Mastriano is unelectable? I'm not arguing with you. I just want to understand your point on this point.
Well, first of all, he's a fraud. His big claim to fame is he's going to restore faith in election integrity, and he's part of the problem. He voted for Act 77. He chaired a fake hearing on election fraud the day before Thanksgiving in 2020, where they didn't even swear in witnesses. You can't have a hearing.
Okay, but that doesn't make him unelectable in November. What makes him unelectable in November?
Oh, well, look at his judgment. He picked a candidate for lieutenant governor, even though that's separately elected, that last week was evicted from his home and had a protection from abuse order against his wife, their 4-year-old son, and the family dog. So regardless of whether or not Teddy Daniels, that's his running mate, wins lieutenant governor, that's a big ball and chain of baggage going into the general election.
What if Teddy's not the lieutenant governor nominee, though? What if it's Clarice Schillinger, for example?
Won't matter, because with Doug Mastriano leading the ticket, it'll tank. Because I'll tell you what's the problem. Southeast Pennsylvania, Montgomery County and every county that touches it geographically is 40% of the statewide population. And you have to have a style and a brand that resonates with not only their conservative base, but also independents that play a key factor in general elections. And that's how I win my races. I do significantly better in my November election in the general, November, than I do in my primaries in the spring, because I appeal to independents that are frustrated with both parties. And Mastriano will not do that. He'll alienate many voters, and has too much baggage to be successful in November.
Joe, where can people find out about your campaign, follow you, learn more about everything you stand for?
Yeah, so you can go to galeforgovernor.com, and you can check out my brother Sean Gale at galeforsenate.com.
Is this the first brother team running for statewide office at the exact same time in American history? It might be, actually.
Yes, it is, and I wish it received more news coverage. It's a pretty interesting story. We're two young conservatives. I'm 33 years old. Sean's 31 years old. Me being a county commissioner, Sean never holding office, but has always been involved behind the scenes as my campaign manager. So I always credit Sean as the brain behind the success of Team Gale. But there's a rare opportunity here in Pennsylvania where you have an open gubernatorial and Senate seat the same year with no incumbent. I believe the last time that happened in Pennsylvania was 1958. And I urge your listeners to check out the Gale brothers. We are true conservatives. If they've been listening to 1210, they know about the Gale brothers. We're trusted conservatives with the proven ability to win, and the only ones that can win in November because of what we have created in a highly populated area, the greater Philadelphia region. We're at unprecedented levels. We build personal relationships directly with the people, and it goes beyond just Republicans. It's a tremendous amount of independents and even any disgruntled Democrats that are out there. So I always call it a gale force that's blowing across Pennsylvania, and Sean and I do this together for this last year and a half, and I know we're going to do well on May 17th, and we would appreciate the listeners to check us out and to support us on May 17th.
Joe Gale, thanks for coming on today. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you.
The Rich Zeoli Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.